have been born at any time in history, and the Most High Yahweh chose for us to be here and now, a time when knowledge has increased and many go to and fro. We find ourselves in the time of the end according to the book of Daniel, and as we have seen, comes with both blessings and spiritual trials like no other. The book of Revelation, the field manual to the end times, tells us what to expect and how to prepare. What was obscured from the generations with parables and hidden understandings just waiting for these last days to be unsealed. While we may also not get everything right, we will be leaning on the spirit of truth of the Most High Yahuwah Sebaoth in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach to reveal to us the proper understanding. For who knows if you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Shabbat Shalom and welcome back, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Parable of the Vineyard YouTube live stream of our Revelation line-by-line series. We are at part 30, and we're in the second to last chapter of Revelation, chapter 21, which really is all about New Yerushalayim, better known as New Jerusalem. And, aside from the 144,000, I think this is one of the most interesting topics to talk about, to study. Certainly there's more important topics to talk about, like our walk, our faith, belief, walking in the commandments. But as far as interesting topics and things to look forward to, man, I don't know if it gets much better than New Jerusalem, because I don't know if we think about it often enough, but this is the reward when Yeshua says that, in my Father's house are many mansions, and I go to prepare a place for you, and, I come quickly and my reward is with me. This is his reward, New Jerusalem. And you can see here, I don't know if that's what it's going to look like. Some people say it's going to be a cube. Some people say a pyramid. Some people say a dome. Yes, I'm good with all of those. I have no idea, because it does, as we'll see today, it says it's as long as it is wide as it is tall, and all three of those shapes could meet those requirements. So I'm just excited to see it when it comes. I pray that I'm worthy to enter those gates, as Isaiah, I think 26 says, open ye the gates for those that keep the truth. And I think because it's Psalm 24, who can ascend the hill of the Most High? He who has clean hands. And anyways, okay, we'll talk more about that later. So this is just wanted to welcome you. So again, Shabbat Shalom. For those of you that are watching live, hey, the Sabbath is here. Those of you who are watching it tomorrow as a recording, Shabbat's here, and it's good to be with you. It's good to gather together and study His Word. I don't know about you, but only 5, 6, 7 years ago, Friday nights and Saturdays, I was doing something completely different, and I'm glad to be here. And there's nothing else I'd rather do than to be here with you, except for if we were all in person. I think that would be the only thing a bit better. So, anyways, enough of me. Enough chatting. Again, welcome and Shabbat Shalom. So let's start with a quick prayer and ask the Father to bless this study, open our eyes and ears, and let's get into it. So let's bow our hearts. Heavenly Father, Yahweh Most High, we just come before you in Yahusha's name. We thank you for giving us an ability to gather together like this, even if it is online. We're gathering to study your word, and we just pray you bless this public gathering, and we pray that you open our eyes and ears to your scriptures, that we may better understand them, so we may better walk them out. And we thank you, of course, first and foremost, for our reconciliation back to you through Messiah Yahusha and his offering, and our belief of what he's done for us through you. In his name, Yahusha, we pray and we bless you on the Sabbath, and we thank you for opening our eyes to the Sabbath and how wonderful it is. Amen and amen. So, okay, let's get to the word. And we're going to start in Revelation 21. We're going to read verses 1 through 2. And we are reading the CEPHER version, but we will be cross-referencing with a couple others. We are going to be reading from the Targums tonight, a lot of the Targums and Isaiah. Isaiah has a lot to say about New Jerusalem, complements Revelation greatly, as most of you are already well aware of. So we'll be reading quite a bit through that and a couple other versions. But let's get to it, as they say. So Revelation 21, 1 through 2, and I saw a renewed heaven and a renewed earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, Yahuchanan, this is John, saw the holy city, renewed Jerusalem, come down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her man. Now, let me just stop here. A lot of people have been taught that New Jerusalem comes down at the end when everybody's been, all the wicked's already been destroyed, the judgment's already happened, everything's wiped away, and then New Jerusalem comes down. We have to remember that Revelation is not always in sequential order. It's parenthetical. It's, you'll have a chunk here, and then it'll jump around to different timelines. This is the only set of verses that are set together that would make you allude to it being that way, but there's dozens, if not multiple dozens, of scriptures that tell us otherwise, and we'll be going through a lot of those tonight. At the end of the day, I think what I'd like to the case I'd like to show you in the scriptures today is that New Jerusalem is where the 1,000-year reign is ruled and reigned from. This is the focal point. This is the holy mount of Yahweh. This is the holy Jerusalem. I don't believe that Yahushua will be reigning from that place over there right now. But we'll get into that again. So sorry for all the extra chatter. So let's actually go straight to, and you'll see here the CEPHER actually references Yeshayahu. That's Isaiah 65:17. We're going to read a little bit of Isaiah 65. We're going to start actually at verse 9, and I am reading here in the Aramaic Targum version. For those of you that have been following with our Isaiah Targum reading live, some of you have probably already seen how much more is in the Targums that were taken out of the Septuagint and the Masoretic text, and a big part of that, what they hid, what big part that was actually in the Targums that was taken out of the Septuagint and the Masoretic is a lot more of Messiah. There's a constant talk about the word of Yahweh, and that was just utterly taken out. So, and I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob, and out of Yehudah, an inheritor of my mountains, and mine elect shall inherit it, and my righteous servants shall dwell there. This is talking about New Jerusalem. And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks, and the valley of Achor, a place for the crouching down of the herd of oxen, for my people which have sought my fear. But ye, a house of Yashrael, you have forgotten the worship of Yahweh. You have forgotten my worship of my holy mountain, that prepare tables for the idols and mix goblets for their gods. Therefore I will deliver them to the sword, yea, all of you shall be delivered to the slaughter. Because I sent my prophets, and ye repented not. They prophesied, and ye did not receive them, but did evil before me, and delighted yourselves in that I would not. Therefore thus saith Yahweh Elohim, behold, my righteous servants shall eat. But ye, O wicked, shall be hungry. Behold, my righteous servants shall drink, but ye, O wicked, shall be thirsty. Behold, my righteous servants shall rejoice, but ye, O wicked, shall be ashamed. Behold, my righteous servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and ye shall howl for vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name for a curse to my chosen, for Yahweh Elohim shall slay you with the second death. You won't find that in the other versions. And call his righteous servants by another name, that he who blesseth in the earth shall bless by the Elohim of the covenant, and he that sweareth in the earth shall swear by the Elohim of the covenant, because the former troubles shall be forgotten, and because they shall be hidden from before me. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, neither shall they come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice in the world of worlds which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And you'll see that, and also what you're going to see tonight is that New Jerusalem is essentially heaven. When it comes down, you basically have heaven coming down to earth. No, I think the big misnomer, big misunderstanding in Christianity is that you die and you go up to heaven, and it's not how it works at all, actually. But I don't want to get too far into that, sidetracked into that today. But essentially, what we're going to find out tonight is New Jerusalem. That's heaven, and yeah, I'll show you that when we get into Revelation. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and my people shall be glad in her. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of those that cry. There shall be no more thence a suckling of days, or an old man that shall not accomplish his days. For even the child that sinneth shall die 100 years old. But he that is a sinner, being 100 years old, shall be thrust out. Now that's interesting. You won't find this from what I remember from the other versions. So this is almost alluding to that the people can, inside, once you get in New Jerusalem, you can still fall away and sin and be rejected. It's what it looks like. This is kind of a new concept here, but it's something to think about. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and others inhabit. They shall not plant and others eat. For as the days of the tree of life are the days of my people, and mine elect shall wear out the work of their hands. Now, this is also something we don't think about. It's like, we want to get there, and then we get there, and then what? Like, what do? We're going to work, which is actually a good thing. Having our own vineyards, having our own livestock, having our own fig tree. This is actually what he created us for. If you think back to Adam and Eve, that was what they did. If you read the first book of Adam and Eve, what they did was they tilled the ground, they dressed the garden, and they sang praises to Yah. That was their life. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's everything I want to do. And I think a lot of us are starting to realize that the hustle and bustle of this world that we grew up in is not what we were created for. The American dream, they call it the American dream, as they say, because you have to be asleep to live it and love it. Working 9 to 5, for somebody else, for a third of your paycheck to be taken, and it's like that's not what this is about. I think a lot of us are pulling away out of that lifestyle and wanting to live off the land. I know some of you listening, you're like, well, I live in a sky-rise apartment in New York. I get it. Not everybody's there. Not everybody has the ability to do that. But I think a lot of us that can, even some of you that in apartments, I've seen some of you, getting planters and planting what you can, growing some crops and eating the fruit of the ground, taking life back a few steps, and really what he created us for. But I can imagine, in New Jerusalem, it just says here, we'll build houses, we'll have occupations. I imagine we'll get together for the feast days, for Shabbats. I mean, those are going to be some get-togethers, And so these are just some of the things to think about of what's really ahead for us. And, I can't wait. I can wait. No, sorry. I got to choose my words better. I can wait. I don't want to wait. I want it to come now. But a lot of us, we've been learning patience. That's been the theme in the Torah portions over the last 3, 4, 5 weeks is patience, 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 patience. So, verse 23, they shall not labor in vain, neither shall they rear up children for death, for they shall be the seed which Yahweh has blessed, and the children of their children with them. So we're going to have more children. I'm really good with that too. And it shall come to pass, before they shall pray before me, that I will hear their prayer, and before they supplicate before me, I will grant the request. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and as for the serpent, dust shall be its food. And I get a lot of people commenting on videos a lot, putting forth the doctrine of the Mandela Effect, and because this verse, and I think we should be careful. At the end of the day, what are you saying? You're just saying don't trust the word. It's been tampered with, so it's like, what are you telling people? I don't doubt that there's some weird things going on. That's another word not to use. There's some odd things going on out there, but to sow doubt in the word of Elohim, I don't know if is really what we should be doing. But teach their own. I'm not your daddy, so you do what you will. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith Yahweh. So let's go back here now to the timing of New Jerusalem coming down. Let's look at a couple passages. I want to look first at 2 Esdras 13. Now, this is a really important one. This tells us right here that when the coming of Messiah Yahushua comes, when he's revealed to the nations, that New Jerusalem is going to be with him. And remember, he said, my reward is with me. And I believe with all my heart that, that New Jerusalem is our reward. That's the 1,000-year reign is what we should be striving for, to enter through those gates and to live that 1,000 years as Adam and Eve were intended to. So 2 Esdras 13, 1 through 7, and then 25 through 38. After 7 days, I dreamed a dream in the night, and this is Ezra, by the way. This book, if you're new, 2 Esdras was included in the 1611 KJV. It was later taken out in the late 1800s. After 7 days I dreamed a dream in the night, and behold, a wind arose from the sea and stirred up all its waves. And I looked, and behold, this wind made something like the figure of a man come up out of the heart of the sea. And I looked, and behold, that man flew with the clouds of heaven. And wherever he turned his face to look, everything under his gaze trembled. And whenever his voice issued from his mouth, all who heard his voice melted as wax melts when it feels the fire. And after this I looked, and behold, an innumerable multitude of men were gathered together from the four winds of heaven to make war against the man who came up out of the sea. And I looked, and behold, he carved out for himself a great mountain, which we'll find out here is New Jerusalem, and flew up upon it. And I tried to see the region or place from which the mountain was carved, but I could not. Remember this. We'll actually refer back to this in a second when we look at Daniel 2 in a sec. So now going to verses 25 through 38, this is now, there was a little bit of dialogue back and forth between Ezra and the angel. Now the angel, I think it's Uriel, is giving the interpretation. This is the interpretation of the vision. As for your seeing a man come up from the heart of the sea, this is he whom the Most High has been keeping for many ages, who himself will deliver his creation, and he will direct those who are left. And as for your seeing wind and fire and a storm coming out of his mouth, and as for his not holding a spear or weapon of war, yet destroying the onrushing multitude which came to conquer him, this is the interpretation. Behold, the days are coming when the Most High will deliver those who are on the earth, and bewilderment of mind shall come over those who dwell on the earth. So people are going to lose their mind when they see this. And they shall plan to make war against one another, city against city, place against place, people against people, and kingdom against kingdom. And when these things come to pass, and the signs occur which I showed you before, then my Son will be revealed, whom you saw as a man coming up from the sea. And when all the nations hear his voice, every man shall leave his own land and the warfare that they have one against another. So basically what the saying is, like Matthew 24, nation against nation, people against people, brother against brother, people are going to be at each other's throats. But when he comes down, right? So when all nations hear his voice, every man shall leave his own land and warfare that they have one against another. So they're going to put their issues aside, and they're going to be like, we don't really have problems. This is our problem. Whatever just came down is our problem. So listen. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as you saw, desiring to come and conquer him. So they're going to see him come down, and they're going to be like, let's get him. But he will stand on the top of Mount Zion, New Jerusalem, right? So, and Zion, New Jerusalem, will come and be made manifest to all people, prepared and built, as you saw the mountain carved without hands. So again, this is showing you right here that New Jerusalem does not come down when everybody's been destroyed. People have been thrown into the lake of fire. The whole creation has been wiped clean. No, this is actually, he comes when the people are still here. And from what I understand, this really starts everything. If you were with us in the Revelation 12 live streams, it's many weeks ago now, but I think it was the second portion of Revelation 12. We went over the order of events, and basically when New Jerusalem comes down is the same time Satan is kicked out, and that's when his reign starts. So it's basically going to be kingdom against kingdom on earth. Satan's kingdom, he's going to gather the people together to overthrow New Jerusalem, but it ain't going to work. So again, in Zion, New Jerusalem will come and be made manifest to all people, prepared and built, as you saw. Remember, Yahusha says, I go to prepare a place for you, prepared and built, as you saw the mountain carved without hands, and he, my son, will reprove the assembled nations for their ungodliness. This was symbolized by the storm, and will reproach them to their face with their evil thoughts and the torments with which they are to be tortured, which were symbolized by the flames, and will destroy them without effort by the Torah, which was symbolized by the fire. Now, continuing on this thought process, let's take a look at Daniel 2. This is at the end of the explanation of the four major kingdoms that will run the world. Daniel 2, 44 through 45, and in the days of these kings shall the Elohim of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. And we see in Revelation that essentially it's an amalgamation of all the four beasts together, and that's showing you that it's basically a world order. It's a new, what we call the New World Order, dominating the earth. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that's what we just saw. That's what we saw here. Where was it? Yeah, here. But he will stand on top of Mount Zion, and Zion will become and made manifest to all people, prepared and built, as you saw the mountain carved without hands, right? The mountain carved without hands. This is the kingdom. For as much as thou sawest that stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, the gold, the great Elohim hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. And just to give you a third witness, oh boy. We had to set this up because too many people were, too many spam was coming on our website. So this is 2 Baruch 4. And this is, we know we've covered this quite a few times over the last couple weeks in Revelation, but just in case anybody's new, this is 2 Baruch 4. Baruch was the scribe of Jeremiah, but he was a prophet in his own right. And this is right when the Babylon army was getting ready to destroy Jerusalem, and Baruch was just like, lamenting. And Yahweh said unto me, this city shall be delivered up for a time, Jerusalem, the physical Jerusalem, and the people shall be chastened during a time, and the world would not be given over to oblivion. Do you think that this is the city of which I said, on the palms of my hands I have graven you? This is in Isaiah. This building now built in your midst is not that which is revealed with me. We just saw that in 2 Esdras, right? And Zion will become and made manifest to all, prepared and built, as you saw the mountain carved without hands, right? Right? But he will stand on top of Mount Zion, and this is all talking about, when Yahusha will be revealed. Where is it at? Yeah, and I show you that my son will be revealed. So this building now, so physical Jerusalem in your midst, is not that which is revealed with me, that which was prepared beforehand here from the time when I took counsel to make paradise and showed it to Adam before he sinned. But when he transgressed the commandment, it was removed from him, as also paradise. And after these things I showed it to my servant Abraham by night among the portions of the victims. And again, I showed it also to Moshe on Mount Sinai when I showed him the likeness of the tabernacle and all its vessels. So anyways, again, this is basically confirming that Yahusha will come back with New Jerusalem at the same time. And then one last one, Psalm 48. This shows you here, again, the kingdom coming, and the people of the earth are still here. Psalm 48, great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised in the city of our Elohim, in the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. Elohim is known in her palaces for a refuge. For lo, the kings were assembled, they passed by together, they saw it, and they so marveled, they were troubled and hasted away. Fear took hold upon them there, and pain as a woman in travail. Thou breakest the ships of Tarshish with an east wind. As we have heard, so have we seen in the city of Yahweh Sabaoth. Remember, Yahusha says, and I will write upon you the name of the city of my Elohim, New Jerusalem, right? The city of Yahweh Sabaoth. In the city of our Elohim, Elohim will establish it forever. Selah. We have thought of thy loving kindness, O Elohim, in the midst of thy temple. According to thy name, O Elohim, so is thy praise unto the ends of the earth. Thy right hand is full of righteousness. Let Mount Zion rejoice. Might as well call it New Jerusalem. Let the daughters of Yehuda be glad because of thy judgments. Walk about Zion, and go round about her. Tell the towers thereof. Mark ye well her bulwarks. Consider her palaces, that ye may tell it to the generation following. For this is our Elohim. For this Elohim is our Elohim forever and ever, and he will be our guide even to death. So, okay, so I think hopefully that's kind of established by now. There's actually a lot more to cover, but we could honestly take 2 hours just showing you that New Jerusalem, comes at the beginning of all the events that are going to transpire. So Revelation 21:3, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men. So New Jerusalem is also called the tabernacle of Yahweh, and you're going to find that nomenclature for New Jerusalem quite a bit in the Psalms. David calls it the tabernacle or the pavilion of Yahweh. So the tabernacle of Yahweh is with him, and New Jerusalem is with men, and he will tabernacle with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their Elohim. And so let's show you here also some part of the timing of when this comes down, part of the first resurrection. Ezekiel 37, most of you are very, very well versed on Ezekiel 37. This talks all about the resurrection. So starting at verse 25, and they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they, and their children, and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be the prince forever. It's talking about of the seed of David, talking about Messiah Yahusha. Certainly David's going to be there, right? And I'm sure he's going to be greatly exalted, but the exalted is Yahusha. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forever. So the New Jerusalem is called the tabernacle, the sanctuary, heaven, many names. My tabernacle also shall be with them forever. Yea, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, Yahweh, do sanctify Yashrael, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. So here again, the heathen shall know. So the heathen are still going to be here when the tabernacle, the sanctuary, the dwelling place, the house of the Most High comes down. All right, and then let's see. Also to show you, so in talking about his tabernacle, it being the tabernacle, right? So remember, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men. So here it comes down, it comes out of heaven, prepared. Think about this, again, about timing of things. This is the reign of Hasatan. Revelation 13:1-6, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. This is the final version of the Roman kingdom, brought into an amalgamation of the New World Order. And the beast, because remember, we also have to remember that the beast was given power by the dragon. Hasatan is the ruler behind it. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him power and his seat and great authority. So this fourth beast, which is the eagle, as we read about in 2 Esdras, I think, was it 10-12? We find out is an eagle. And we see here that this eagle is also amalgamated with a leopard, the bear, and the lion. These are all the beasts that Daniel were shown in his vision. So again, you've got kind of a New World Order conglomerate. All the nations come together against New Jerusalem, as is what this is showing us. And people that don't comply with the New World Order will be taken out. And I believe those are the people that will be beheaded. Maybe the foolish virgins that were not ready. They were still his, but they weren't ready, and they had to give up their lives in order to be found worthy. But those, I believe, that are prepared beforehand, that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, walking in faithfulness, which is a verb, that are keeping the commandments of the Most High to the utmost of their ability, of keeping the Torah of the Most High. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, right? Who is like this new world order? Nobody can fight with him. Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Now listen closely. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Elohim, right? So he's speaking out against God, to blaspheme his name, right? That's not only just his physical name or his actual name, but his name is also his character. And you know, Hasatan is doing that right now with, you know, turning gender upside down and sexuality. And I mean, that's blaspheming his name. So to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. So again, you're connecting heaven being the tabernacle. So he's blaspheming his. So imagine he's saying, and blaspheming New Jerusalem and them that dwell in heaven, which is New Jerusalem. So again, you know, it kind of sounds really odd to think that, you know, Hollywood puts out and invests so much money into this alien agenda. I think a lot of us have missed the point of why he's doing that. You know, a lot of us have hypothesized that, you know, aliens, you know, the fallen angels will come made manifest, and people will, you know, will worship them because of the alien theory. I think really in most alien movies you see, you have a large structure hovering in the sky, right? Like a mothership, and, you know, most often they're hostile. And let's be honest, when Yahusha comes, he's going to be hostile with the earth, the inhabitants of the earth. Why? Because they've walked in wickedness and great pride and have rejected the commandments of the Most High. And he's going to come to destroy it. And what do the aliens do? They come to destroy earth. And what is the savior of the world, the superheroes and stuff? They know they want to fight off this big bad enemy, and they just want, you know, they want to save the earth. You know, which seems like a noble cause to most people. It's because they don't know that righteous is the judgment of Yahweh, and he has determined that this will be essentially annihilated, and the people thereof who have walked in great pride and have forsaken his ways and his commandments, they're going to be destroyed. And there's nothing they're going to be able to do about it, no matter what Satan tells them, no matter what he's pre-programmed them to say. You know, I mean, like video games and everything. It's like, you know, if we just get together, come together, we can defeat this enemy together. We're stronger together. You're already seeing that now with this COVID stuff. You know, we're stronger together. I mean, so there's billboards everywhere. We're stronger together. But we're called to be separate. We're called to be separate, to be set apart to the Most High. We're not called to be molded into the nations. And so, you know, I don't know the timing of all things. The longer this goes on, the more that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we're going to stick out like sore thumbs, because we're not supposed to become one with the people. That's exactly what happened with the Maccabees. You had the, you know, the Greeks. They took over the world and they wanted peace. Right? It sounded good. They wanted everybody to be one people, but you had to forsake your laws, and you had to keep their laws. And so that's the kicker. And that's where the Maccabeans said, don't think so. And that's where the Most High gave them power from on high. So anyway, so again, what we're seeing here is we're seeing the reign of the Antichrist. Call him Satan, call him whatever you want to call him. He's going to blaspheme the tabernacle. He's going to talk trash essentially about that. They'll be like, hey, that's your enemy number one. Listen, we all got to it's probably going to be a really, really slick speech, you know, like, oh, we got to put all of our problems down. That's our problem. That needs to go. That is threatening our existence. You know, you people, you know, color versus color, you know, all these things are being pushed now, so that when he comes, he'll do away with all that, poverty, race wars, politics, just ridiculous politics. All this is just coming to a head, because when he comes, he's going to do away with all that. And he's going to look like a superhero. I mean, for people that don't know the scriptures and don't know Yah, they're going to be so swooned over by him. They're going to be like, yes, this all these people are all ridiculous. This guy is talking the truth, right? Anyways, and by doing so, he's gonna convince people that they'll be able to take over Messiah and New Jerusalem and the 144,000 that stand on top of it. But we know how that goes. Okay, I better hurry up or I'm going to have to do this into 2 parts. Okay, Revelation 21:4. Oops, yeah, okay. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, no crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And for this, I want to read a little bit of the Targums, and we're looking at page 78. Yeah, okay. Chapter 25 of the Targums of Isaiah. O Yahweh, thou art my Elohim. I will exalt you. I will praise your name, for thou hast done wonderful things. Surely thou hast brought to pass and hast established the counsels which thou hast promised of old to bring to pass. For thou hast made the unfortified cities heaps. The fortified city is a ruin. The idolatrous house of the nations in the city of Jerusalem shall never be built up again. Well, guess what? They're built back up right now, and you've got foreign gods being worshipped on Jerusalem right now. So guess what? It's going to be destroyed one more time. Therefore shall the strong people glorify thee, for the city of terrible nations shall fear thee. For thou hast been a strength to the poor, a help to the needy in the time of distress, as those who are protected from before a storm, or who are protected as in a shade from the scorching heat. Thus the words of the wicked against the righteous are as a storm that beats against the wall. As the scorching heat in a dry land, thou shalt bring low the tumult of the mighty. As the shade of a cooling rock in a parched land, thus peace of mind shall be to the righteous when the wicked shall be humbled. And in this mountain, New Jerusalem, shall Yahweh Sabaoth make a feast and a banquet. They think that it shall be for their glory, but it shall be to them for a disgrace and for mighty afflictions, from which they shall not deliver themselves, afflictions through which they shall come to an end. The face of the prince of all the people shall be destroyed, and the face of the king, of the ruler of all the kingdoms. Death shall be forgotten forever, and Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from off the faces, and the reproach of his people he shall remove from off all the earth, because it hath been decreed thus by the word of Yahweh. Again, that's Messiah Yahushua. And one shall say at that time, behold, this is our Elohim, this is he for whom we have hoped, and he shall save us. This is Yahweh, for his word we have hoped. We will rejoice, and we will be glad in his salvation. For the power of Yahweh Sabaoth shall be revealed in this mountain, near Jerusalem. And the Moabites shall be trodden under foot, even as straw is in the clay. And he shall extend the stroke of his power among them, as though a swimmer extends himself to swim. And he shall humble his glory together with the wiles of his hands. He shall cast down the fortified city, the great city. He shall thrust it down. It shall come to the earth, even to the dust. Chapter 26. At that time they shall sing a new song in the land of the house of Yehudah. We have a strong city. Salvation and mercy shall be established upon her walls. Open ye the gates, and let the righteous nation enter, which have kept the Torah with a perfect heart. In a perfect heart they shall preserve peace. Peace shall be wrought for them, because they have trusted in thy word. Trust ye in the word of Yahweh forever and ever. Thus ye shall be saved by the word. And that's exactly how we're saved. We're saved by the word of the Most High and continuing in the word. Who is the fear of Yahweh, the mighty one to eternity? For he will humble the inhabitants of the high and strong city. He will humble her. He will cast her onto the ground. He will bring her even to the dust. The feet shall tread her down, the feet of the just, the sole of the foot of the poor, of the needy, of the people. The paths of the righteous are right. Thou wilt establish the works of thy ways of the just. Yea, for the way of thy judgment, O Yahweh, have we hoped. To thy name and to the remembrance of thee is the desire of our soul. My soul desireth to pray before thee in the night. Yea, my spirit within me is blessing thee. When thy judgments are prepared for the earth, those that dwell in the world shall be taught to practice truth. Thou hast granted unto the wicked continuance, that verily they should return to the Torah, but they did not return. All the days that they lived, that they should practice truth in the earth, but they dealt falsely. Yea, they will not regard the practice of thy glory, O Yahweh. Actually, yeah, okay. O Yahweh, when thou shalt be revealed in thy power to do good to them that fear thee, there will be no light to the enemies of the people. The wicked shall see it and shall be confounded. The vengeance of thy people shall cover them. Yea, fire shall consume thy enemies. O Yahweh, thou wilt ordain peace for us at all times. For when we restrained ourselves from our sins, thou wast working for us. O Yahweh, our Elohim, the nations have had dominion over us, being lords over us beside thee. And that's what's happening right now. It's a different type of slavery that we're in than what the Israelites were in back in Egypt. But I don't want to get into that. You know about where we're at right now in this world. But we trust in thy word. We praise thy name. They worship idols who do not live, their heroes who shall not rise. Therefore, when thou shalt visit their sins, thou wilt make an end of them, and make all memorial of them to perish. Thou shalt reveal thyself to gather the dispersed of thy people. Thou wilt bring together their captivity. So here we're connecting. When Yahusha comes down, New Jerusalem, he's gathering his people at that time, right? And I believe, again, those that were ready. Thou wilt reveal thyself in the power to cast all the wicked into hell. O Yahweh, in distress they remembered thy fear. In their trouble they were ardently learning the doctrine of thy Torah. This is all prophetic stuff. This is all stuff still yet to happen. Have long-suffering and patience with those of us, our brothers, that have not understood that the Torah is good and for us to keep. And as Psalm 91 says, his truth shall be our shield and buckler, especially when this time comes. Like as a woman with child who draweth near, that at the time of her delivery trembleth and crieth out in her pangs, so have we been, because we have sinned before thee. Distress swift as the wind hath seized us, like a woman with child who draweth near the time of her delivery. The inhabitants of the world have not brought deliverance. They have not tilled the earth, neither have they been able to perform any miracles. Thou art he who dost quicken the dead. The bones of their dead bodies thou dost raise up. They shall live and offer praise before thee. All that were cast into the dust, because thy dew is the dew of light to them that do thy Torah. But thou wilt deliver the wicked into hell, whom thou hast given power, for they have transgressed against thy word. Come, O my people, produce for thyself good works, which shall protect thee in the time of distress. The time of distress is the great tribulation. Hide thyself as it were a little moment until the curse have passed away. For behold, Yahweh is revealing himself from the place of his Shekinah to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their sins, and the earth shall disclose the innocent blood that was shed in her, and shall no more cover her slain. Verse 5, 21:5, and he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I'll make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And I just want to read this a little bit. Jeremiah 31:16-22. Thus saith Yahweh, refrain thy voice from weeping, and thine eyes from tears. For thy work shall be rewarded, saith Yahweh, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. So it's the same thing. Your good works will be for a shield or protection. And there is hope in thine end, saith Yahweh, that thy children shall come again to their own border. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus. You have chastised me, right? You punished me, and I was punished, chastised, as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn thou me, and I shall be turned, for thou art Yahweh, my Elohim, right? So we weren't accustomed to the yoke of the Torah. Surely after that I was turned, I repented, and after that I was instructed. I smote upon my thigh like, darn. I was ashamed, yea, I even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth, right? Thinking back of our days of our ignorance and our utter depravity in some cases, and we're just like, I was ashamed, yeah, I was confounded, even because I did bear the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim my dear son? This is all about the prodigal son, coming back to him. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. Right? He's talking about the house of Israel. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith Yahweh. Set thee up waymarks. Make thee high heaps. Set thine heart toward the highway, even the way which thou wentst. Turn again, O Virgin of Yashrael, turn again to these thy cities. How long wilt thou go about, O backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. And the woman is New Jerusalem. The woman will compass a man, will enclose the man, will be his people. All right, let me close some tabs here. Okay. Let's go Revelation 21:6. And he said unto me, It is done. I am the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of water of life freely. And so let's talk about this. Who is the Aleph and the Tav? Well, it's Yahusha, Messiah Yahusha. And let's read this. We're going to read Isaiah 12. And in that day thou shalt say, O Yahweh, I will praise thee. Thou wast angry with me. Thine anger is turned away. This is what we just saw in Jeremiah. And thou comfortest me. Behold, Elohim is my salvation. I will trust and be not afraid, for Yahweh is my strength and my song. He has also become my salvation. This is the song. For those of you who know, that's the song of Moshe, right? He is my strength and my song. Right? And he has become my deliverance, my salvation. Therefore with joy shall ye draw water out of the wells of salvation. And in that day ye shall say, Praise Yahweh, call upon his name, declare his doings amongst the people, make mention that his name is exalted, sing unto Yahweh. This has become a really big thing. Those of you, if you don't sing to him, I would highly recommend it. It's kind of a commandment, like everywhere. It's all over the Psalms, which Yahusha said was the Torah when he was talking about the Pharisees were like, you call yourself the Son of God. And he's like, is it not written in your law that in your Torah that ye are gods? That's in the Psalms. So, hey, and it's all over the Psalms, right? Sing unto him a new song. So, hey, you want to follow Torah? Sing, even if you don't sing well, which I am not a good singer yet. I'm practicing. And I can tell you, my heart is overjoyed singing for him. It's filled a big void in my heart. So sing unto Yahweh, for he hath done excellent things. This is known in all the earth. Cry out and shout, thou inhabitant of Zion, for great is the Holy One of Yashrael in the midst of thee. Now, I want to show you how interesting this is. I want to go. We're going to read the same thing, but in the Targums, page 42. By the way, this is a PDF. It's available free. Chapter 12 in the Targum version. And thou shalt say at that time, I will confess before thee, O Yahweh, for that I have sinned before you. Thine anger is upon me. But when I return to the Torah, thine anger will turn from me, and thou wilt have mercy on me. Behold, in the word of Elohim is my salvation. Now, why was that cut out of the Masoretic and the Septuagint? No idea. But here, this is Messiah right here. Behold, in the Messiah, the word of Elohim is my salvation. I am trusting, and I shall not be moved, because my strength and my praise is the fear of Yahweh. He hath spoken by his word, and he's become my Savior. And he shall receive a new doctrine with joy from the chosen of the righteous. At that time shall ye say, Praise Yahweh, pray in his name, declare his doings among the people. Remember ye that powerful is his name. Praise Yahweh, for he hath done mighty works. This is revealed in all the earth. Cry out and shout, O congregation of Zion, because he is great that promised to cause his Shekinah to dwell in the midst of thee, the Holy One of Yashrael. So now let's read Isaiah 55. Isaiah 55. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters. And he that hath no money, come ye, buy. Remember, and what we're getting at here, to the waters, and we kind of read that here. Where did we read that? Yeah. Therefore, with joy shall you draw water out of the wells of salvation. And a lot of you know where I'm going to go with this. Yahusha, right? We'll talk about that. So, talking about this everlasting water. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. Why do you spend your money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. Incline your ear, and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, and a leader and a commander to the people. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee, because of Yahweh thy Elohim, for the Holy One of Yashrael, for he hath glorified thee. Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our Elohim, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word that goeth forth out of my mouth, it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper the thing unto where I sent it. For you shall go out with joy, and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree, and it shall be to Yahweh for a name and for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. So let's continue. Revelation 1:7-8. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen. And here he is. Yahushua is declaring, I am the Alpha and the Omega, which is the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the ending, saith Yahweh, which is and which was is to come, the Almighty. So now, let's bring that home together here. John 4:5-24. Then cometh he to the city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near the parcel of ground that Yaakov gave to his son Joseph. This was the he got the firstborn inheritance, the extra. Now Yaakov's well was there. Yahusha, therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahusha saith unto her, Give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away into the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Yahusha answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of Elohim, and who it is that saith to thee, Give to me drink, thou wouldst have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? Yahusha answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of the water of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. And remember, did I put it in here? Yeah, just to show you real quick, this is kind of where he's coming from with this. Deuteronomy 32:1-2. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine, right? So the true understanding, the true doctrine of the Most High shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. And we as man grow by the word of Yahweh. The woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. And Yahusha saith unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. And Yahusha said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband, for you have had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. And that thou saidst thou truly. King James sometimes. The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain. Ye say that it is in Jerusalem the place where men ought to worship. Yahusha saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. For we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Yahudim. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. It's not just spirit. We don't just walk by the Spirit and just do things as we please, right? Well, in spirit and in truth. The truth is defined in Psalm 119:142 as the Torah. So we walk in the Torah, but also in the fruit of the spirits of it, right? The fruit of the spirit of it. Too often we see people that come to the knowledge of Torah, get filled up with pride, and are just, for lack of a better term, a bunch of jerks. And I don't think they're walking in the Spirit. So something that we're gonna continue to talk about here in the days coming ahead. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. Elohim is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So Praise Yah, Yahushua HaMashiach. Our Messiah is the Aleph and the Tav, the beginning and the end. Revelation 21:7, he that overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his Elohim, and he shall be my son. Yahushua was called his son. Are you saying we get to be called his son too? That's what the word says. Deuteronomy 16:20. So we're going to talk about who inherits, right? So we're going to talk about he that overcomes shall inherit all things. And some people believe that, just a confession, it means you overcome sin, you overcome all that. There's a lot more to that, and let's talk about that. So we're going to talk about overcoming. So Deuteronomy 16:20, justice and only justice you shall follow, that you may live and inherit the land which Yahweh your Elohim gives you. So we're going to talk about those that are going to inherit the land. What are the characteristics of those people that are going to inherit the land? Psalm 25:12-13, who is the man that fears Yahweh? Him will he instruct in the way that he shall choose. He himself shall abide in prosperity, and his children shall possess the land. And we know that the way is the Torah. It's also defined in Psalm 119 verses 1-2. Blessed is the man that walketh. I'm gonna butcher it. Let's just look it up real quick. I should know this by heart by now, but I just don't. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the Torah of Yahweh. Psalm 37:29, the righteous shall possess the land and dwell upon it forever. To Ezra 7:116-131, again, to Ezra was in the 1611 KJV. I answered and said, this is my first and last word, that it would have been better if the earth had not produced Adam. This is Ezra lamenting to the angel. Or else, when it had produced him, had restrained him from sinning. For what good is it to all they that live in sorrow now and expect punishment after death? O Adam, what have you done? For though it was you who sinned, the fall was not yours alone, but ours also who are your descendants. For what good is it to us if an eternal age has been promised us, but we have done deeds that bring death? And what good is it that an everlasting hope has been promised us, but we have miserably failed? Or that safe and healthful habitations have been reserved for us, but we have lived wickedly? Or that the glory of the Most High will defend those who have led a pure life, but we have walked in the most wicked ways? Or that a paradise shall be revealed, whose fruit remains unspoiled, in which are abundance and healing, but we shall not enter it because we have lived in unseemly places? Or that the face of those who practice self-control shall shine more than the stars, but our faces shall be blacker than darkness? For while we lived and committed iniquity, we did not consider what we should suffer after death. He answered and said, this is the meaning of the contest which every man who is born on earth shall wage. Let me read that again. This sums it up. This is the meaning of the contest which every man who is born on earth shall wage. That if he is, so again, the theme here we're talking about is overcoming, victorious. That if he is defeated, he shall suffer what you have said. But if he is victorious, if he overcomes, he shall receive what I have said, which the angel had described, some of the rewards. For this is the way of which Moses, while he was alive, spoke to the people, saying, choose for yourself life, that you may live. But they did not believe him, or the prophets after him, or even myself who have spoken to them. Therefore there shall not be grief at their destruction, so much as joy over those whom salvation is assured. So let me read that again. Yahweh is not concerned about the wicked. I know he wants them to turn, but his focus is on you. Listen to this. Therefore there shall not be grief at their destruction, so much as joy over those to whom salvation is assured. His mind is stayed on you. Is your mind stayed on him? So we're going to talk a little bit more about what Moshe said. This is the way of which Moshe said while he was alive, choose for yourself life that you may live. Remember, Messiah Yahushua said he is the way, the truth, and the life. He declared himself to be the Torah. Torah is the way, Torah is the truth, Torah is the life. And we know that Messiah Yahushua is the Word, and the Word is the Torah. Torah is part of the Word. Deuteronomy 30:11-20. For this commandment which I command you this day is not too hard for you, neither is it far off. Right? So he said it back in the Torah. These commandments are not too hard for you. People in churchianity will say, oh, nobody can keep the law. Only Messiah can keep the law. And therefore, we don't keep any of it and just let him do it for us. That's not going to work. It is not in heaven that you should say, who will go up for us in heaven and bring it to us that we may hear and do it, right? It's not beyond your reach. Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who will go over the sea and bring it for us that we may hear and do it? But the word is very near you. It is in your mouth and in your heart so that you can do it. See, I have set before you this day life and good, or death and evil. If you obey the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim, which I command you this day, by loving Yahweh your Elohim, by walking in his ways, and by keeping his commandments and his statutes and his ordinances, then you shall live and multiply, and Yahweh your Elohim will bless you in the land which you are entering to take possession of it. There's nothing different with where we are at right now, aside from we are living in a time where Messiah, Yahushua, has come to be our reconciliation, and including our keeping of the commandments. We have faith in him and belief that he is our atonement. He is our high priest. He is our King of kings, and by him only do we bear the fruit, right? He is the vine, we are the Nazarene. He is the vine, we are the branches. We only bear fruit through him. You want to deny Messiah and walk the Torah on your own? Good luck. It ain't going to work for you. But if your heart turns away and you will not hear, but are drawn away to worship other Elohim and to serve them, I will declare to you this day that you shall perish. You shall not live long in the land which you are going over the Jordan to enter and possess. And one could say, people that are going to Sunday church, they're not worshiping other gods. I'm here to tell you, in a way they are, because if they're not worshiping him the way he declared it, who are they worshiping? Who declared Sunday to be the day of worship, the day of gathering? Who declared that? The beast of Revelation. Who gave the beast of Revelation power? Satan did. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life, that you and your descendants may live, loving Yahweh your Elohim, obeying his voice and cleaving to him, for that means life to you and length of days, that you may dwell in the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Yitzchak, and to Jacob, to give them. And it's the same story all over again. Again, remember, the people came out of Egypt, they were saved by the blood of the Lamb, and they were in the wilderness to be tested and proved, and those that failed fell and did not enter in. The same thing is happening now. We're saved by the blood of the Lamb. We're in the wilderness of the peoples being tested right now, waiting to be brought into the land. And I believe those that are the wise virgins, keeping the commandments of the Most High, and alongside their faith in Messiah, Yahushua, will be allowed to enter, and those that have not will not. The door will shut on them. To Esdras 7, 1 through 25, when I had finished speaking these words, the angel who had been sent to me on former nights was sent to me again, and he said to me, Rise, Ezra, and listen to the words that I have come to speak to you. I said, Speak, my Lord. And he said to me, There is a sea. This is about the great contest. This is about the testing. This is about the proving grounds that is this earth. Whether we're going to, it's Deuteronomy, I think it's Deuteronomy 8. That he brought them in the wilderness to test them, to prove them, to make them to suffer to hunger, right? To see what was in their heart, whether they would keep his commandments or not. Essentially, that's where we're at. He's testing us, proving us, putting trials before us to do what? To see if we'll fall away or if we'll keep his commandments. How many of you, since coming to Torah, you've inherited a lot of blessings, but a lot of testing, right? I said, Speak, my Lord. So, I'm sorry. There, and he said to me, There is a sea set in a wide expanse, so that it is broad and vast, but it has an entrance set in a narrow place, so that it is like a river. If anyone then wishes to reach the sea, to look at it, or to navigate it, how can he come to the broad part unless he passes through the narrow parts, right? So there's a big, open, open body of water, but to get to it, you have to go through a narrow passage, right? So he's saying here, how can you get to that without going through the narrow part first? Another example, there is a city built, so this is talking about New Jerusalem. There is a city built and is set on a plain and is full of all good things. But the entrance to it is narrow and set in a precipitous place, so that there is fire on the right hand and deep water on the left. So again, you want to get to New Jerusalem, it's a narrow path. It's the same thing that Yahushua said, narrow is the way. And there is only one path lying between them, that is, between the fire and the water, so that only one man can walk upon that path. If now that city is given to a man for an inheritance, how will the heir receive his inheritance unless he passes through the danger set before him? I said, He cannot, Lord. he said to me, so also is Israel's portion. For I made the world for their sake, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, what had been made was judged. And so the entrances of this world were made narrow and sorrowful and toilsome. They are few and evil, full of dangers and involving great hardships. But the entrances of the greater world are broad and safe and really yield the fruit of immortality. Therefore, unless the living pass through the difficult and vain experiences, they can never receive those things that have been reserved for them. But why now are you disturbed, seeing that you are to perish? And why are you moved, seeing that you are mortal? And why have you not considered in your mind what is to come rather than what is now present? So again, the whole theme, what we're talking about here, is overcoming, rising to the occasion, right? Being tested and proven of what we're going to do, whether we're going to keep his commandments or not. Then I answered and said, O sovereign Lord, behold, thou hast ordained in thy Torah that the righteous shall inherit these things, right? And so that's what we're talking about. So he that overcomes shall inherit all things. So this is what Ezra is alluding to, right? So thou hast ordained in thy Torah that the righteous shall inherit these things, but that the ungodly shall perish. The righteous, therefore, can endure difficult circumstances while hoping for easier ones, right? Because they're like, even while being tested, we know what's to come. Even death, we know what's to come. But those who have done wickedly have suffered the difficult circumstances and will not see the easier ones. So Ezra is even lamenting for, wicked people. They're like, how vain. These people are going through hard experiences now, and they have nothing to look forward to because, they're not going to inherit these things. And he said to me, you are not a better judge than Elohim or wiser than the Most High. Let many perish who are now living rather than the Torah of Elohim, which is set before them, be disregarded. Let me say that again. Let many perish who are now living rather than the Torah of Elohim, which is set before them, be disregarded. For Elohim strictly commanded those who came into the world when they came what they should do to live and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient and spoke against him. They devised for themselves vain thoughts and proposed to themselves wicked frauds. They even declared that the Most High does not exist, and they ignored his ways. They scorned his law and denied his covenants. They have been unfaithful to his statutes and have not performed his works. So he's basically saying, you don't keep the Torah? Sorry, you're not in. Therefore, Ezra, empty things are for the empty, and full things are for the full. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I got it's like itch. So let's breeze through and let's take a look at all the different passages in Revelation 2 and 3 about the rewards for he that overcomes. Revelation 2:7, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh, I will give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Elohim. Revelation 2:11, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. Revelation 2:17, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it. Revelation 2:26-27, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him I will give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And this is exactly the same promise that was given to Yahusha in Psalm 2, that he would rule the nations with a rod of iron. And apparently those that overcome and keep his works, right, faith and works, is how we're justified. They will also rule and reign. Hopefully, we will rule and reign with him as well, being found worthy. Revelation 3:5, he that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. Wow. Like, imagine that moment. And this white raiment, this is that raiment that never fades away. Glorious garments. Revelation 3:12, him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my Elohim, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my Elohim, and I will write upon him my new name. Revelation 3:21, to him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame, and am set down with my Father in his throne. Praise be to Yahweh. Okay, so let's go to 21:8, verse Revelation 21:8. But the fearful and the unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and the whoremongers and the sorcerers and idolaters and all liars, commandment breakers. These are commandment breakers. Unbelieving, fearful, unbelieving, abominable, murderers, whoremongers, sorcerers, idolaters. These are people that are breaking his commandments. Shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Going back to 2 Ezra 7:32-38, talking about the second death and being thrown into the lake of fire. And the earth shall give up those. This is the resurrection, right? And this might actually, I think this is the second resurrection. And the earth shall give up those who are asleep in it, the dust those who dwell silently in it, and the chambers shall give up the souls which have been committed to them. And the Most High shall be revealed upon the seat of judgment, and compassion shall pass away, and patience shall be withdrawn, but only judgment shall remain. Truth shall stand, and faithfulness shall grow strong, and recompense shall follow, and the reward shall be manifested. Righteous deeds shall awake, and unrighteous deeds shall not sleep. Then the pit of torment shall appear, and opposite it shall be the place of rest, and the furnace of hell shall be disclosed, and opposite it the paradise of delight. Then the Most High will say to the nations that have been raised from the dead, Look now, and understand whom you have denied, whom you have not served, whose commandments you have despised. Look on this side and on that. Here are rest and delight and rest, and there are fire and torments. Thus he will speak to them on the day of judgment. Now, same thing in Matthew 25:31-46. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. Before him will be gathered all the nations, and he will separate them one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will place the sheep at his right hand, but the goats at his left. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, Come, O blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, Yahweh, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? And when did we see you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and clothed you? And when did we see thee sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will answer them, Truly, I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these my brethren, you did it to me. Then he will say to those at his left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me. Naked, and you did not clothe me. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they also will answer, Yahweh, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister to you? Then he will answer to them, Truly I say to you, as you did it not to one of the least of these, you did it not to me. And they will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. Amen. All right, now 21:9-10. And there came unto me one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show you the bride, the Lamb's woman. And he carried me away in the Ruach to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from Yahweh. Amen. So again, you can see here that New Jerusalem's coming down at the timing of the 7 last plagues. So again, it's comes here before everything is destroyed. Having the glory of Yahweh, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Yashrael. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So let's talk about the foundations and the names of the 12 apostles. Let's talk about that real quick. First Peter 2:1-10, wherefore laying aside all malice and guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. If so be ye have tasted that Yahweh is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Elohim and precious, ye also, as lively stones, living stones, are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Elohim by Yahusha HaMashiach. So, as we saw earlier in Revelation 3, where he said that he'll make, a pillar in the temple of Elohim, surely New Jerusalem is the bride, but in a sense, so are the people. He marries the people, he marries the land. We can see that the people are building blocks of New Jerusalem. And I don't know if I have it on the study tonight, but I know we've read it several times during this study, that New Jerusalem, it says that will be like jewels encrusted on her. And we're going to talk a lot more about jewels here, actually, really shortly. I think you're going to be blessed by it. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Sion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, right? Not hearkening to his commandments, whereunto also they were appointed. But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness, which is the opposite of Torah, into his marvelous light. The Torah is light. And I'll show you a couple things here. Proverbs 6:23 defines that for us. For the commandment is a lamp, and the Torah is light. And this is also kind of deciphering codes if you want to understand the parable of the wise and virgins. Remember, they had lamps, and they trimmed their lamps, and one had oil, one didn't. It's all Torah talk. So the commandment is a lamp, the Torah is light. So when Peter's talking about who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, well, his marvelous light is Torah. And, the Torah is kind of hidden in parable form in all of this, in all the New Testament, nearly all of it. No wonder his apostles did it so, because they learned from Messiah to talk in parable form. If people didn't know his word, the beginning of the book, they're not going to understand the rest of it. They're just thinking that like light is good, but what is that defined? How do you define the light? And we define it by the obedience and the keeping of his commandments, the Torah. You'll find often that Yahusha spoke the same way. He spoke in terms of light and in truth. How often in John he says, "I tell you the truth," right? I'm telling you the Torah. I mean, that's how he spoke. Which in time past were not a people, but now are the people of Elohim, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. And also here, but ye are of a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. He is actually quoting Exodus. I think it's 19. Is it 5-6? I think. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure, or peculiar people, as Peter says it, peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Yashrael. Revelation 3:12, he that overcometh, I will make a pillar in the temple of my Elohim, and he shall go no more out. So again, kind of like building blocks of the temple, the city, New Jerusalem, right? So kind of like just stones thereof. Revelation 21:15, and he that talked with me had a golden reed to measure the city and the gates thereof and the wall thereof. And speaking about the measuring, we can go back to Revelation 11:1-2, and there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel saying, rise and measure the temple of Elohim and the altar and them that worship therein. right? So he's measuring all that, the temple and the people. So you're kind of, again, seeing that the New Jerusalem and the people are kind of like one, like echad, like kind of like how the mystery of, the children of Israel having one Elohim, echad. Well, we don't even learn until John 17 when Messiah Yahushua says that he and the Father are echad, they're one, and that he prayed to the Father that his disciples would be also as one, like molded together. And here also we can see New Jerusalem and the people are one. So you can see here measuring, and we kind of also, it kind of gets revealed here in Enoch 61. And I saw in those days how long cords were given to those angels, and they took to themselves wings and flew, and they went towards the north. And I asked the angel, saying unto him, why have those angels taken these cords and gone off? And he said unto me, they have gone to measure. And so again, it's the same thing we're seeing here, measuring the temple and them that worship therein. And we can see here the golden reed to measure the city and the gates thereof and the wall thereof. And they have gone to measure, and the angel who went with me said unto me, these shall bring the measures of the righteous, and the ropes of the righteous to the righteous, that they may stay themselves on the name of Yahweh Sebaot forever and ever. And the elect shall begin to dwell with the elect, and those are the measures which shall be given to faith, and which shall strengthen the righteous. And these measures shall reveal all the secrets of the depths of the earth, and those who have, and it keeps going. Anyway, so just want to stay on topic here. So we can see here that when they measure, it's kind of, again, it's measuring really all of it. The building, the people, everything. And the city lies foursquare, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed, 12,000 stadia, roughly 1,500 miles. And the length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. So roughly you have 1,500 miles squared, 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles tall. And roughly, promise land. So, and it's roughly, oh, that's a terrible picture. Well, whatever. So roughly, it's really close to 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles. And what I'm showing you here is the outskirts or the borders of what Yahweh had promised to Abraham as being the borders of his inheritance forever. And you can see here, kind of Jerusalem is almost smack dab right in the middle, right here. So like if you imagine this coming out, let's say this is more of like a perfect square. So let's say it's shot out this way and this way and this way. Jerusalem is almost right at the center of that square as well. And again, whether it's a cube or a pyramid or a dome, I know not, but either way you can place that bad boy right on top of here. And that's also why, and you see quite a bit in the prophets. This got to be a better picture than this that we can zoom in. Here we go. So here we go. So what's interesting is you go through most of the prophets and you look at the destruction of Mystery Babylon, or call it the Day of Yahweh, where all the destruction starts. It basically pops off the names of everything within this border. Almost everything will all be decimated, from my understanding, and that starts it all. And then I believe that land has to be cleansed before New Jerusalem sits down on top of her. So that's kind of where I'm at with how it lies and where it'll be. And this is really an interesting verse. I gotta tell you, there's really so much here, and I really want to spend some time on it, but it's just I really don't know where to go with it. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits. Now listen, according to the measure of a man, that is of the angel. What is this verse actually saying? Is this kind of alluding to what the size of the resurrected man's going to be? Let me read this again. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits. Now that's an interesting number, the 144. According to the measure of a man, that is of the angel. And that's a really, really interesting statement here. And I really would love to dive into that a little more, but Unfortunately, I'm just not going to be able to. One thing I want to share with you. I was going to play this for you tonight, but I just don't think we're going to have enough time. And I want to thank 119 Ministries. Now, a lot of you know that myself and 119 Ministries, we do not agree on a lot of on all topics. But you know, that's okay. The longer and longer I've been doing this, is we realize that we're not going to agree with all of each other. Even though we disagree on, like, a main part of my ministry is, reading books like Enoch and Jasher and Jubilees, and they disagree greatly. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I believe that people like this, that 119 Ministries, are on the same mission as us, which is to bring people to the true Messiah and following the commandments and following the Torah to the best of our understanding. So, when people trash other ministries and whatnot, I just don't get it. I really feel like there's going to be a lot of shame for people when Messiah comes back, when he says, don't let me come back finding you beating your fellow servants. And in our times, we're beating each other with our words, and I think it's the same thing, in my opinion. So anyways, they were very kind. I actually reached out to them and asked permission to show this video during the live stream. But we're just not going to have time to watch it. But I really would encourage you. There's some really, really cool math when you take the some of you have already seen this, I'm sure, but when you take the math of the tabernacle and the holy place, the most holy place, and you take the 144 into account, and the reason I'm bringing it up again is you measure the wall thereof 144 cubits. They have a teaching is very unique. I've never seen anybody talk about this ever before, and it really blessed me greatly. And it's like 10 minutes, but I really highly recommend you watch this. Again, it's called right here, the 144,000 and the Holy of Holies. Check that out. It's an amazing teaching, and I praise Yah that He put this into their hearts to do so. So, anyways, check that out. I'm gonna actually here. I'll put the. You're not Julius Caesar. No, I'm not. You didn't think big enough. That commercial, man. Kids. All right, so I'm going to put that in the chat for you all. I would highly recommend that teaching. So, okay, let's keep going. Because I want to finish, and we're almost finished, and we've got 30 minutes. And there's actually a lot more to go over. So wait, I'm actually not almost finished, so that was wrong. So Revelation 21:18. Actually, we're going to read 18 through 21. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third a chalcedony, the fourth an emerald, the fifth a sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth a topaz, the 10th a chrysoprasus, the 11th a jacinth, the 12th an amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, and every gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, and it was transparent glass. So a couple of amazing things to go over. I first want to share a video with you that it's 5 minutes long, and it goes, yeah, it's really important. I want to show you this, so check this out. This is there's something special about these 12 stones that were mentioned here that are like none other. And, well, I'll just let David Pawson explain it to you. This is an amazing revelation that some of you have probably seen. Some of you may have never seen. I hope this really blesses you. It really blessed me. But it really shows you the authority behind the scriptures that really nobody can deny. So check this out.
New Jerusalem, it said, is made up of 12 precious stones that we would make into jewelry now. Now here's the fascinating thing, which to me is the final proof that that book is the Word of God, that it must be God inspired. In the last generation only, we've discovered how to make purer light. than we had before. Most light is bouncing around, waves crashing into each other, going in all directions, so that the light coming from that spotlight still lights this side of my face by reflecting off that tinsel up there. We're used to light coming at us from all directions. But we've now discovered how to send light in one direction. Laser light is the most common. You've seen laser light beams straight as a die. But we've also got what we call cross-polarized light. A polarized filter, if you can imagine, allows lights through like that. But if you put another polarized filter at right angles to that, you've really got a very fine filter. If you take sunglasses and take one lens and put it at right angles to the other, it goes even darker. It only lets very straight light through. Now, people have taken jewels and precious stones and cut a very thin slice for microscopic purposes, and then shone cross-polarized light through them to see what happens. To put it very crudely, what happens to these precious stones in pure light? And one of two entirely different things happens with every jewel. The technical term, to give you a bit of science for a moment, is anisotropic jewels and isotropic jewels. Now what happens is this. Some jewels in pure light, whatever their color to begin with, they may be red, blue or green, turn into all the colors of the rainbow and the most fantastic patterns. Other precious stones in pure light lose all their color, just go black, look like a lump of coal dust. And it's only in this generation that people have discovered this unusual property. For example, diamonds in pure light are nothing.
Did you get that, ladies?
They're not
Did you
even
hear that? Diamonds, nothing. They won't be there.
No, so make the most of them here. Rubies, garnets, just lose everything.
Emeralds.
No, they keep it.
Oh, good.
There are other stones that are anisotropic and go into these beautiful colors. Now here's the fascinating thing. The 12 precious stones that God uses to build the New Jerusalem are all anisotropic. In pure light, they are all far more beautiful. And God doesn't touch the diamonds or the rubies. He doesn't build with them. Now, let's just put on the screen a picture of these stones.
Yeah.
Look at the top 12 stones on this picture, and you'll see the stones of the New Jerusalem. Look at the 4 bottom ones at the bottom of the picture, and you'll see they're black, no attraction, whatever. Now then, who knew this 2,000 years ago? No scientist knew it. Nobody knew it. John the Apostle, writing down the book of Revelation as the Lord dictated it to him, he didn't know. Nobody knew except one person in the entire universe, and he knew, and that was God himself.
Where is that written exactly?
Revelation 21,
Right.
halfway through, and you'll find all the 12 stones listed there. And you can just imagine from the picture we've seen on the screen how beautiful the New Jerusalem is going to be. No need for do-it-yourself decoration or changing rooms there. No need. The materials that God uses will be fabulous.
From verse 19, 21
right.
verse 19.
Read them out.
The first foundation was jasper,
Yeah.
the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth carnelian, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase, the 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst.
No diamonds, no rubies, no garnets, because they're isotropic. Now, isn't that amazing? To me, that one thing alone would prove that the Bible was inspired by God, because nobody could have known this. They didn't know it until our generation.
Man, that, I don't know, that just does something to me, to know. That just gives me so much. I mean, I have confidence that the word is true, but it's just like every time you see like another thing like this, it's just amazing. So if you didn't catch exactly what's going on there, there's tons of beautiful stones out there, but and just in this recent generation, have they been able to expound the light through some precious gems, and some, like he said, light up like the rainbow, and some just go dull like a lump of coal. And it just so happens that all 12 of the stones picked for the New Jerusalem shine like the rainbow. So, man, just really, really just amazing stuff. And let's go really quickly to Esdras, and speaking about being like living stones, and as Isaiah speaks about, which we're going to read here in a little bit. I think it's 49, talks about being like ornaments as a bride on New Jerusalem. I want to talk about us being precious in the sight of Yahweh for a moment, if you will allow me to. To Esdras 7:45 through 61. This is one of my favorite passages of all time, because it tells you how Yahweh views you, and it's just something you just don't get a whole lot of, like kind of his heart and his, anyways, you'll see. I answered, and this is Ezra speaking back and forth again with the angel. I answered and said, O sovereign Lord, I said then, and I will say now, blessed are those who are alive and keep thy commandments. But what of those for whom I prayed? For who among the living is there that has not sinned, or who among men that has not transgressed thy covenant? And now I see that the world to come will bring delight to few, but torments to many. For an evil heart has grown up in us, which has alienated us from Elohim, and has brought us unto corruption in the ways of death, and has shown us the paths of perdition, and removed us far from life. And not just a few, but almost all of us who have been created. He answered and said to me, Listen to me, Ezra, and I will instruct you, and will admonish you yet again. For this reason the Most High has made not one world but two. For whereas you have said that the righteous are not many, but few, while the ungodly abound, hear the explanation for this. Now again, keep in mind the precious stones concept we're just talking about. If you have just a few precious stones, will you add to them lead and clay? I said, Adonai, how could that be? And he said to me, Not only that, but ask the earth, and she will tell you. Defer to her, and she will declare it to you. Say to her, You produce gold and silver and brass, and also iron and lead and clay. But silver is more abundant than gold, and brass than silver, and iron than brass, and lead than iron, and clay than lead. Judge therefore which things are precious and desirable, those that are abundant or those that are rare. And I said, O sovereign Lord, what is plentiful is of less worth, for what is more rare is more precious. He answered and said to me, Weigh within yourself what you have thought, for he who has what is hard to get rejoices more than he who has what is plentiful. So also will be the judgment which I have promised, for I will rejoice over the few who shall be saved, because it is they who have made my glory to prevail now. And through them my name has now been honored, and I will not grieve over the multitude of those who perish. For it is they who are now like a mist, and are similar to a flame and smoke, and they are set on fire and burnt hotly and are extinguished. Brothers and sisters, for those that are alive and keep his commandments, they are as to Yahweh precious gemstones with great brilliance. And how many often do we see in the scriptures that those that keep his commandments, that those that are been found righteous will shine more than the stars. And so take that into consideration with the video we just saw, is how certain precious stones will shine with great brilliance in amazing ways. So just really, really interesting, and I find that very, very comforting in a lot of ways. So praise be to Yah. So let's go to another amazing book talking about the New Jerusalem. And we did a reading / study on the book of Tobit maybe a couple months ago. I mean, what an amazing book. I mean, it's a short read, maybe an hour, maybe 45 minutes. I can't remember, but it's pretty short. And it is just an amazing book. And out of nowhere, at the end, it's like, boom, 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 New Jerusalem, and you're like, whoa, okay, this is cool. And so let's take that into consideration as we read this. So, Tobit 13. Then Tobit wrote a prayer of rejoicing and said, "Blessed is Elohim who lives forever, and blessed is his kingdom," which is the whole theme of what we're talking about tonight. "For he afflicts and he shows mercy. He leads down to Hades and brings up again, and there is no one who can escape his hand. Acknowledge him before the nations, O sons of Yashrael, for he has scattered us among them. Make his greatness known there, and exalt him in the presence of all the living, because he is our Yahweh and our Elohim. He is our Father forever. He will afflict us for our iniquities." I think a lot of us have seen that. "And again he will show mercy and will gather us from all the nations among whom you have been scattered, if you turn to him with all your heart and with all your soul to do what is true before him. Then he will turn to you and will not hide his face from you. But see what he will do with you. Give thanks to him with your full voice." How many times have we been talking about singing, right? We're going to sing tonight, by the way. We're going to sing a couple songs tonight at the end. "Praise Yahweh of righteousness and exalt the King of the ages. I give him thanks in the land of my captivity, and I show his power and majesty to a nation of sinners. Turn back, you sinners, and do right before him. Who knows if he will accept you and have mercy on you? I exalt my Elohim. My soul exalts in the King of heaven and will rejoice in his majesty. Let all men speak and give him thanks. And Yerushalayim, O Yerushalayim, the holy city, he will afflict you for the deeds of your sons, but again he will show mercy to the sons of the righteous. Give thanks worthily to Yahweh and praise the King of the ages, that his tent may be raised for you again with joy." And this is what we were talking about earlier. Again, David calls it the tent, the pavilion, the tabernacle. This is what we're waiting for to come down with Yahusha, him revealed with New Jerusalem, as we read in 2 Ezra 13 a little while ago. "May he cheer those within you who are captives and love those within you who are distressed, to all nations forever. Many nations will come from afar to the name of Yahweh Elohim, bearing gifts in their hands, gifts for the King of heaven. Generations of generations will give you joyful praise. Cursed are all who hate you. Blessed forever will be all who love you. Rejoice and be glad for the sons of the righteous, for they will be gathered together, and will praise Yahweh of the righteous. How blessed are those who love you. They will rejoice in your peace. Blessed are those who grieved over all your afflictions, for they will rejoice for you upon seeing all your glory." Right? So this reminds me, a lot of this reminds me of the Beatitudes, Matthew 5, and talking about who's going to be blessed. Blessed are the meek, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be, I should know it. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm doing. "And they will be made glad forever. Let my soul praise Elohim, the great King, for Yerushalayim will be built with sapphires and emeralds." That's what we just read in Revelation. "Her walls with precious stones, and her towers and battlements with pure gold. The streets of Yerushalayim will be paved with beryl and ruby stones and ophir, and her lanes will cry hallelujah, and will give praise, saying, Blessed is Elohim who has exalted you forever." So the book of Tobit is a neat little book, and really it's just an amazing blessing to read this book, and there's so much to be gleaned from it. And again, you get a neat little surprise here at the end with some stuff about New Jerusalem. Okay, let's see here. Where are we at? How are we at with time? Okay, let's read a little more about New Jerusalem. Isaiah 54, 1 through 15. "Sing, O barren." This is again talking about New Jerusalem. "Sing, O barren, that thou that didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud, that thou didst not travail with child. For more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith Yahweh. Enlarge the place of thy tent." Again, this is the same verbiage. We've seen verbiage used for New Jerusalem as the tent, the pavilion, the tabernacle, the sanctuary, so many different words. "So enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. Fear not, for thou shalt not be ashamed, neither be thou confounded, for thou shalt not be put to shame. For thou shalt forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood any more. For thy Maker is thine husband, Yahweh Sevaot is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Yashrael, the Elohim of the whole earth shall be called. And just to give you kind of some background context as to why she's called a widow, I believe it's 2 Esdras 2. Yeah, here we go. Thus says Yahweh, I brought this people out of bondage. I gave them commandments through my servants the prophets, but they would not listen to them and made my counsels void. The mother who bore them says to them, Go, my children, because I am a widow and forsaken. I brought you up with gladness, but with mourning and sorrow I have lost you, because you have sinned before Yahweh Elohim and have done what is evil in my sight. But now what can I do for you? For I am a widow and forsaken. So this is what it's talking about here. For thy maker is thine husband, Yahweh Sabaoth is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Yashrael, the Elohim of the whole earth shall he be called. For Yahweh hath called thee as a woman forsaken. That's what we just saw here. I am a widow and forsaken, grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou wast refused, saith thy Elohim. For a small moment I have forsaken thee, but with great mercies I will gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness I will I have mercy on thee, saith Yahweh thy Redeemer. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should go no more over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. For the mountains shall depart, the hills shall be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith Yahweh, that hath mercy on thee. O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires. So there it is again. I will make thy windows of agates, and thy gates of carbuncles, and all the borders of pleasant stones. And we saw earlier that Peter said also that we are living stones built up a spiritual house. So in some way, shape, or form, truly, New Jerusalem is the bride, period, point blank. But there's something about the people being like one with the building, and it's at the same time being the bride as well. It's an interesting little way it works out, but that's just how I see it at this time. And all thy children shall be taught of Yahweh, and great shall be the peace of thy children. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. And we saw that in Revelation 19 and 20, where the nations are gathered against her to destroy her. We saw that actually earlier tonight in 2 Esdras 13, when Yahusha comes down with New Jerusalem being revealed with it. Then the nations will put their differences aside, gather together, and go against New Jerusalem. But they shall fall, as we know. Isaiah 49:10-18, they shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that hath mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. And I will make all my mountains a way, and all my highways shall be exalted. Behold, these shall come from far, and lo, these from the north and from the west, and these from the land of Sinim. Here it is again. Sing, right? Sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains, for Yahweh hath comforted his people, and will have mercy upon his afflicted. But Zion said, Yahweh hath forsaken me. Right? Here it is again. And my Adonai hath forgotten me. Can a woman forget her suckling child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget. So he's saying it's possible, right? Even as doubtful as that is, they may forget, yet I will not forget you. Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. Thy walls are continually before me. And that's actually what we read earlier in 2 Baruch chapter 4, when he's like, Baruch, this physical Jerusalem is not that city which will be revealed with me. And he said, remember, do you think this is the city of which I spoke of upon my hands that was graven? This is what he was quoting, referring to here. Thy children shall make haste, thy destroyers, and they that made thee waste shall go forth of thee. Lift up thine eyes round about, and behold, all these gather themselves together and come to thee. As I live, saith Yahweh, thou shalt surely clothe thee with them all as with an ornament, and bind them on thee as a bride doeth. So again, truly, New Jerusalem is the bride, but it looks like we are some of the stones, or precious stones or ornaments that are like part of her. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but it sounds exciting, and I want to be a part. All I know is I want to be a part of it. That's all I know. As in the words of Alan Horvath, I don't know nothing, What I do know is I just want to be part of all this, and we know that we can do so by faith in Messiah Yahusha, believing in him, and keeping the commandments of the Most High. And we know that all those can be described as something that either loves Yahweh with all of our heart, soul, and might, or can be categorized into loving our neighbor as ourselves. And as we, if you want to know more about that, the best way is to, quite frankly, read the word for yourself. If you need a little help as you go through it, we've got the Torah portions here, or there's many other good channels that that go through the Torah with you to kind of help show you what exactly we are to do. Okay. Revelation 21:22, and I saw no temple therein, for Yahweh Elohim Tsevaot and the Lamb are the temple of it, right? So we talk about, is Yahusha the Father? Is he the Son? And we can see here that we have the Father and the Son, for Yahweh Elohim Tsevaot and the Lamb, which we know the Lamb is Messiah Yahusha, are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it, for the glory of Yahweh did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. We know the Lamb is the Word is the Torah, or quite frankly, all of it, including the Torah. And we know Proverbs 6:23 says that the Torah is light. So I want to read a little bit of the Targums of Isaiah. So we're going to read Isaiah 60 that kind of connects with this. Okay, Isaiah 60 Targums. Arise, shine, O Yerushalayim, for the time of thy redemption is come, and the glory of Yahweh is revealed upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the kingdoms. You know, this could be literally a physical darkness like we saw in the plagues of Egypt, or this could be talking about the difference between the light and the dark. The light being the righteousness of the Torah, and the darkness being the opposite of that, the works of filthiness, of not keeping Torah. But in thee, remember we saw also in Revelation that the kingdom of the beast shall be filled with darkness. In thee the Shekinah of Yahweh shall dwell, and his glory shall be revealed upon thee. And the nations shall come to thy light, and the kings to thy brightness. Lift up thine eyes, O Jerusalem, round about, and see all the children of the people of thy captivity. Now, keeping in mind this bright light, so let's talk about New Jerusalem coming down physically bright, right? Let's say the light of the light of the sun is no more, the light of the moon is no more, the stars withdraw their shining. So you have literally pitch dark. Jerusalem comes, and you've got these stones which we saw are anisotropic, and it shines like the rainbow. You know, that actually gives a little, it reminds me of what we've been talking about also I just reminding me right now, Revelation 10. And I saw the mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face, as it were, the sun. So I wonder, we saw earlier that Yahusha comes down with New Jerusalem prepared and built. Well, is this where that rainbow is coming from? Actually, that thought just came to me now, so I haven't had time to really expound on that, but just a thought. Lift up thine eyes, O Jerusalem, round about, and see all the children of the people of thy captivity who are gathered together. Thy son shall come from far into the midst, and thy daughter shall be carried upon thy arms. When thou shalt see and be enlightened, and thou shalt be struck with awe, thine heart shall be enlarged on account of the terror of the sinners, for the riches of the west shall be transferred unto thee. The treasures of the nations shall be brought unto thee. A multitude of Arabians shall cover thee round about. The dromedaries of Midian and Holad and all of them from Sheba shall come. They shall be laden with gold and frankincense, and those that are coming with them shall show forth the praises of Yahweh. It's interesting. It's like the same gifts that were given to Yahusha at his birth. All the sheep of the Arabians, so will the same gifts be given to him as second coming? All the sheep of the Arabians shall be gathered unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall be offered up with the acceptance upon mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. So you have here the children of Abraham essentially are going to forsake their ways and come and serve the Most High. It's interesting. Actually, I'm not going to go there. Who are these that are coming openly like swift clouds and tarry not? The captives of Yashrael, who are gathered together to come to their land, lo, as doves which return to their dove houses. Surely the isles shall wait for my word, and those that embark in the ships of the sea, the hand that stretcheth out their sails shall be first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh thy Elohim, and to the Holy One of Yashrael, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of the nations shall build up thy walls, and their kings king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have had mercy on thee. Thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day or night, that men may bring unto thee the treasuries of the nations and their kings in chains. Now, this is interesting because this Ezekiel kind of says something opposite. Ezekiel 46, a lot of people like to quote it, in favor of lunar Sabbath, which I don't agree with. But I'm not saying that to be contentious, but it says in Ezekiel that the gates will be shut, except for on the Sabbath day and new moon days. So little something different here. That's something I'd like to explore in the future. Yeah, this is for another time. Just want to point that out. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee, O Jerusalem, shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly destroyed. The glory of Lebanon shall be brought unto thee, the fir tree, the elm, and the box together, to beautify the place of the house of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of the dwelling of my Shekinah glorious. The sons of them that enslave thee shall come and bow down to thee. All that provoke thee to anger shall prostrate themselves unto the soles of thy feet to make supplication unto thee. And they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion, in which the Holy One of Yashrael delights. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and an outcast, so that none went through thee, I will make thee an eternal glory, the house of joy for generation and generation. And thou shalt be satisfied with the riches of the nations, and in the spoil of their kings thou shalt delight thyself. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, thy Savior, and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For the brass which they spoil of thee, O Jerusalem, I will bring gold, and for the iron I will bring silver, and for the wood brass, and for the stones iron. I will also make thy pastors peace, and thy rulers righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, nor destruction, spoil nor destruction within thy borders, but they shall proclaim salvation on thy walls. On thy gates there shall be those that praise. Thou shalt need no more the sun for a light by day, neither for brightness the moon by night. But Yahweh shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy Elohim thy glory. The kingdom shall cease no more, and thy glory shall not be moved. For Yahweh shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Thy people shall be all righteous. Forever shall they inherit the land, the plant of my delight, the work of my might, that I might assuredly be glorified. He that is little amongst them shall become 1,000, and he that is weak shall become a strong nation. I, Yahweh, will bring it to pass in its time. Whew. Really looking forward to that, brothers and sisters. I'm just going to be quite frank. Okay, we're going to read Revelation 24 through 27, and we'll finish up here. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor unto it. And the gates of it shall not be shut by day at all, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it, and there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defiles, neither whatsoever works abomination or makes a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's CEPHER of life. So remember, people are going to be, people that are inside, there's going to be no sin. There's going to be none of that. But outside, there will be people that will be needing forgiveness and those kind of things. And, that's is actually kind of why we see the Levitical priesthood comes back and those kind of things. So very, very interesting. So brothers and sisters, I pray that you may have gotten something out of this, but most importantly, I pray that the Most High was thrilled in some way that a handful of people wanted to get together on a Friday night, on Shabbat, get together for a public reading of his scriptures, and with the only intention of growing and understanding his word better and wanting to draw closer to him as the return of Messiah, Yahushua, gets closer and closer every day. So praise be to him for that. So we're going to do some songs now. Let me get this silly thing off. I'm telling you, it really kind of helps preserve your eyes. It really does. Anyways, so we're going to sing some songs, but before we do that, I want to pray. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pray, we're going to do the blessing, and we're going to sing some songs. I'm going to share with you a new song that that the Most High inspired me to write. I wrote it during a time of affliction, so it's near and dear to my heart. a lot of you know, when I was in Southern California, faced a lot of affliction, and on my bed of affliction, the Most High guided me to write 2 songs. One of them was the Commandment song, which we'll play tonight, and the other one was the Creation song, which I'll play for you. It's not done yet, but I wanted to share with you. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, O Yahweh, we just come before you in Yahusha's name, and we just bless you and thank you for your word. Thank you for opening our eyes to the goodness of it here in these last days. Thank you for showing us to understand your true Son, your lawful Son that kept your commandments and told us to do the same. Thank you for reconciling us back to you through him and his blood that he offered for us. Thank you for opening our eyes to the wondrous matters of your Torah in these last days. And we just ask you to continue to help us along this narrow path and to strengthen our hearts and to root out any evil out of our hearts, that we may bring forth fruit out of the abundance of our hearts, O Yahweh. And we just bless you and we thank you for this Shabbat, this day of rest, and we just honor you. Blessed be you, O Yahweh, in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. Amen, amen, and Shabbat Shalom to you. So let's do the Aaronic blessing. Yevarechecha Yahuwah ve'yishmerecha Ya'er Yahuwah panav elecha v'chun neka Yahuwah panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yahweh make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. So first song I'm going to play for you is the 10 Commandments song. And again, really doing this to praise the Most High. Some of you may not like it. I'm not really that good of a singer. I'm not trying to just be like, oh, I know the skills he's given me, and I know some of the skills that I have to work on. But really, I wrote this for the children because the power of song is amazing for them to help them learn the commandments and to memorize them. So I'll see you here in a second after this song. Let's sing a little song about the 2 greatest commandments, loving Yahweh and loving people. Let's start with how we love him. You shall not have any other Elohim before him. You shall not have any graven images, for you are his. You shall not bow down to them, nor shall you ever serve them. Keeping his commandment shows you love him. Yahusha did not abolish but strengthen them. Blessed are those who keep his way. They may have the right to enter through the gate. And you shall not take his name in vain, and remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Work 6 days and then we rest and be refreshed. Honor your mom and dad, and then you'll be surely glad. Keeping his commandment shows you love him. Yahusha did not abolish but strengthen them. Blessed are those who keep his way. They may have the right to enter through the gate. Now we're going to sing about loving other people. Here's how. And you shall not murder anyone, even in your heart. Love everyone, and you shall not commit adultery, even in your mind. Put that all behind, and you shall not steal anything. Be sad
satisfied with what Yah provides, and you shall not tell any lies, for he sees all who's above the skies. You shall not covet anything, but keep his ways. You won't lack a thing. Keeping his commandment shows you love him. Yahusha did not abolish, but strengthen them. Blessed are those who keep his way. They may have the right to enter through the gate.
Okay, we're going to do two more songs. The next song, we're going to do Alan Horvath, Kingdom Come, because it really just fits with everything we've been talking about. Because that thing you see right there, that's where, I mean, again, I don't know if it'll be a cube or whatever, but yeah, that is Kingdom Come. And then after that, we'll do the other song that I'm working on. And I'm actually going to cut out my song at the end. I'm just going to allow you guys who are here live to watch it because it's not really finished. But my heart's just overjoyed singing for him, and it's really for him. So you may not enjoy it, you may enjoy it, it doesn't matter, but it's for him. But here, before that, let's do Alan Horvath, Kingdom Come. It's one of my favorites of his.
I hear the farmers crying, kingdom come. I see the horrifying things we've done. I want to go way down by the end of the road, all the way to let our needs get met along the way. And most of all, I pray you let your kingdom come. Yeah, kingdom come. Whoa. For the slightest hint of light, give us this day, give us this day. Let your kingdom come. Whoa. It's an ancient story that still gets told to those who hear and those who don't, by prophets and trees and things out of the blue. But once that cry has reached your ears, your heart gets filled by what you hear, and what you hear is just the sound of you crying, kingdom come. Kingdom come, kingdom come.
Man, what a good one. Miss Alan very much.